Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence the 17th, and I want to talk to you today about Apple v. Pepper. And if you don't know what that is, it's the recent, the story is around the recent Supreme Court ruling that will allow that case, Apple versus Pepper, to go forward. The case is brought by a bunch of iOS users who are claiming that because Apple controls the apps that are sold in the App Store, they control access to it by developers, and that they take a 30% commission, that unnecessarily and unnaturally raises the prices of all of the apps in the App Store. And a lot of the language around this is that Apple's a monopoly. They have a monopoly over the App Store, and you know. I get all the commentary, and there's an awful lot of people who would like to jump on the bandwagon of some anti-capitalism movements, some pro-socialism movements, and just start to tear apart the tech companies. I think in this particular case, and I have a little bit more experience in this than most people do, because for the last 10 years, I've been selling an app in the App Store, a paid app, which is, believe me, far in the minority. Most of the apps on the App Store are free. Now, a lot of them contain ads, and a lot of them contain in-app purchases. And yes, Apple does take 30%. And, if that means that Apple has a monopoly over the App Store, well, then I guess they do. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty happy about that, because if you look at the alternative, Apple alone is not a monopoly. You don't have to buy an iPhone. You don't have to buy an iPad. You don't have to buy iOS apps. You can get Android. You can get Windows Phone. You can get, who knows, whatever you want to get. You can get whatever you want. You don't have to do this. But if you are going to buy an iPhone or an iPad, then I am really glad that Apple takes care of me, a developer, and me, a user. And here's what I mean by that. Apple really tightly controls the standards by which apps are built, the code base, the data requirements, the disclosures. Whereas on the Google side of things, on the Android side of things, it's the wild, wild west. It's why I don't have a version of Rehearsal Pro for Android, because it's this blood sport when there's paid apps that people crack them, and Google doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to Google. They don't care. They don't go after people. By cracking them, I mean that they figure out how to decrypt them and put them up on secondary sites other than Google Play to allow people to download them. Now, that happens every so often with iPhones, but Apple goes after those sites and gets them taken down, or they figure out the loophole that they may have used to get those apps available, and they close it. Often it requires what's called jailbreaking your iPhone. I just find all this ludicrous. Apple created the iPhone. They created the stack around creating apps, selling apps that are providing tremendous service to people, I think. And if they're not, the marketplace decides and it doesn't sell very well. My app happens to sell really well. It costs $20. And the basis of this Apple v. Pepper case is that because Apple takes 30%, people like me who price their paid apps naturally make the price higher. I'll tell you how I came to the price for my app. It's $20. $20 is easy to say. It's easy to pay. And for the value that it gives you as a professional tool to rehearse your lines, learn your lines, memorize your scenes, manage your auditioning and work process. I mean, it's less than lunch. It's less than a dinner. At no point in this whole conversation did the idea of Apple charging me 30% come up, other than me knowing that was the agreement that I have if I want to sell in the app marketplace. I wouldn't lower the price if that percentage was lower. I wouldn't argue if they wanted to lower the percentage. But I look at what I get for that 30%. First of all, I get security review. I get distribution. I get discoverability, which means people can find it in the App Store. They don't have to go a million different places to find it. I get payment management and processing. I basically get money delivered to my bank account once a month for however much I sold that month. And I don't have to worry about credit cards being bad. I don't have to worry about chargebacks. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. There's one other thing that I want to talk about, and that's promotion. I was on the front page of the App Store the first day we came out, and just about 2 weeks ago as well. And they give us that promotion. We get a bump in the number of sales. For us, not that much, because it's a very specific app for very specific users, you professional actors. But that whole idea of payment processing and the ease with which the money comes from the user to me is really valuable. In addition, this case centers around the fact that the Supreme Court ruled that all of the people who buy are buying directly from me. And they're actually not. They're buying my product through a retailer, Apple. If they want a refund, they don't come to me, they go to Apple. In the general marketplace, the wholesale resale marketplace, it's usually a 50% markup, or doubling, if not somewhere around there, anywhere between 50 and 100%. If someone sells something wholesale to a retailer for $1, there's a very good likelihood that the retailer will mark it up 50 cents or $1 to sell it retail-wise. So I don't understand why this is even an argument. But I do understand that we live in times where anything that's big business, and tech is certainly big business, is under fire. It's under siege, and it just drives me a little bit crazy. The price setting is not based on what Apple takes, at least for me. I feel like if you got to go get headshots done, or you've got to go take one class, my tool, which you can use forever, it's a one-time payment, is going to be worth a lot more than that, and $20 is a freaking bargain. So that was my strategy. And by the way, Apple, I'm really more than happy to testify on your behalf, because I just think this is a witch hunt. I just find it ludicrous. And so there you go. I'd love to know what you think, though. I'd love to know if you've bought apps and you felt they were way too expensive, those free apps that you get, or the in-app purchases that you get, or the subscriptions that you get, or the apps that you paid for. Do you think that the 30% that Apple takes makes a difference? Do you think that's why people price their apps the way they do? I don't know. Tell me. Give me a comment below. Tell me if you think that it's a big old ripoff to go and buy an app in the App Store, or if you think it's actually a pretty decent bargain for what you get for your money. I'd love to know. If you are watching this on anywhere but VO2GoGo, like over on YouTube where we house these videos, go ahead and go to VO2GoGo, because we've got some really great stuff for you over there. Lots of freebies, lots of stuff that doesn't cost anything, no 30% markup. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, agree or disagree, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click my head there. If there's no head, there's a subscribe button somewhere on the page. And if you'd like to see the latest episode I've done, click on that frame and YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.